My name is Mayor Flanagan, and I'm here to give you an update on my friend, World of T-Shirts, Joshua Block. On Monday, August 19th, in New York, Alex Novell contacted the New York City Police Department to inform them that he was a victim of a crime. It's my understanding that the New York City Police Department in the 9th Precinct issued a criminal complaint against Mr. Based, Jason Itzler, for the crime of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
Yes, you read the title correctly. This is another video on Joshua Block. Why so soon? Usually we check in on the guy monthly, every other month. Well, in really unfortunate timing, literal hours after I uploaded my latest Joshua Block video, so much stuff has happened. Mr. Based is now on the run. There's been stream snipers, and there's a whole conspiracy to arrest him. Now, again, I have documented Joshua Block a lot. In the past year alone, I have made 6 videos on the guy. And Joshua Block is someone that posts a lot of TikToks. He posts like 6 to 7 a day. This drama was so bad that Josh dipped from the internet for around a day. And unironically, a lot of people on the internet thought that he actually died. Like, they were genuinely concerned. And one TikTok that I found made a very good point that we're not going to really know if anything's happened to Josh until he basically stops posting. That's the only way we'll know.
Josh Block is going to die of alcohol poisoning, and we're not going to know until he doesn't post for like 2 days. I swear to God. He didn't post until like 4 or 5 hours ago. This close. That's not a good thing.
Now, for a world first, Josh isn't actually the focus of this video. It's this incredibly slimy, shady manager who I've talked about many times, Mr. Based. If you didn't know, quick rundown, Josh had a manager called Michael Quinn. He owned a chain of hot dog stands, and a lot of people pointed out that the guy was just really not taking care of Josh. He was obviously just using him for views. And whenever Josh would not drink for about, 5 hours at a time, Michael Quinn would go on his TikTok and basically gloat saying, "That's the Quinn effect, baby."
You gonna quit drinking or what?
I'm gonna cut back, okay? I'm gonna cut back. I should probably go a few days without it, too, just to give my body a rest.
But Josh's new manager, Mr. Based, makes Michael Quinn look like a saint, and that is a very hard thing to do. Where Michael was ignorant and a little bit exploitative, Mr. Based basically knows exactly what he's doing, taking full advantage of Josh for as much revenue as possible. I already talked about this in the previous video, how bad Mr. Based is, and how content-brained he is. Like, for example, there was one time where Josh went into the medical office because he's had a rash all over his face and his body for a couple of weeks, and Mr. Based was filming it. He gets told by the nurse to not film it, but then Mr. Based is like, no, keep filming. Get until the 1 minute mark.
All right, so what's going on?
I have these rashes on my arm and my neck. I don't know if they're what it is. It was itching right before I left for Punta Cana.
We're hoping it's psoriasis.
Or eczema.
Eczema, that was the word.
Looks like possible monkeypox I want to test for.
Are you sick? Monkeypox? Isn't that scary?
I just want to make
Oh, yeah,
sure.
test for it. Holy.
Test for it.
Do you know? Have you heard of monkeypox?
Bro is patient 0.
What would be the...
No, you
Wait, can you stop taping me?
Yeah, of course.
you.
What would be the...
Yeah, do you not turn this off at the 1 minute point? Thank you.
Yeah.
You're not...
How long- where did you go?
It has to be...
No, we're turning off, but where did you go to medical school? We're just curious. We have OCD.
Long Island University.
I love that school.
Okay.
God bless you.
There.
I'm 57. I graduated in 85.
If you didn't know, by the way, TikTok pays out a lot more when you get a video over the 60-second mark. It's basically the equivalent of getting a video to over 8 minutes on YouTube. So it is imperative that you reach that mark to get the full payout. Now, Mr. Based, like a lot of lolcows on the internet, they attract a lot of people that basically want to exploit them for content. So the chances of them running into someone that basically wants to stream their interactions with them and bait them is incredibly high, especially the fact because Mr. Based is somewhere as central as New York. I already talked about the interaction last video that was incredibly awkward, where one of Sneako's fans went to Mr. Based's house probably to stage some kind of intervention. You know, when you have a shower and you just have like an argument in your head that you're going to win, that's probably what that guy did on the day. And then when he went to confront him, it was just a painful watch, to say the least. Now, Mr. Based is definitely on edge because I can imagine a lot of times, especially when he isn't streaming, people on the street are coming up to him, probably to like start on him. And this is actually what recently happened because he got into an altercation with someone streaming his interaction with Mr. Based, and it ended up being a fight. Now, I can't show the fight for two reasons. Firstly, because YouTube would snipe the video instantly. And second of all, the cameraman actually did such a bad job, he wasn't actually able to capture any of the impact. So what we have instead is after the confrontation, the streamer basically just screaming out loud like he's been attacked and he needs police. Like, I get it. YouTubers are greedy. They want the ad revenue. They'd rather talk about something for 8 minutes than show any actual footage. But this is a still image of the fight. Can you tell what's going on here? No, it looks like someone just threw a flashbang grenade. Now, even though, like I said, the cameraman basically failed to capture any of the interaction, this did leave the streamer, Alex Novell, with needing stitches on his forehead. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Alex, he's basically a journalist. If you look at Alex's content, he basically does a bunch of documentary series looking at a lot of different aspects, and he has actually done one on Joshua Block. He did a video called World of T-shirts, living with autism and alcoholism in New York City. It's about a 30-minute video going into, well, basically just a deep dive. So this obviously wasn't a streamer Andy that wanted their 5 minutes of fame. This is someone who has definitely at least done some research into Joshua Block and the whole World of T-shirts, you know, MCU multiverse to see how bad the situation has got. Now, one of the things he was actually working on is the murder of Julia Sumnich, and that happened in around like early 2010. Many questions remain for the family of Julia Sumnich, a Wisconsin college student who died on a spring break trip to Florida in March 2010. Now, this actually involves Mr. Based because allegedly he was actually a suspect for fatally using a date rape drug that ended her life. He was with them, he wasn't dating her, and he never actually tried to deny that. The two seen together in surveillance video arrived on the nearby Flamingo Towers at 4 a.m. Prespont shared the condo with the 44-year-old Jason Itzler. Itzler, who called himself the king of all pimps, is currently in New York facing felony charges for promoting prostitution and selling drugs. According to the New York Post, Itzler placed himself at the condo with the couple. Katina said Itzler admitted to being in the apartment with Julia and that he had consumed GHB himself, knowing that Julia wouldn't have taken the drug on her own and that Itzler had access to it. You know, as an investigator, you put two and two together and someone slipped Julia that drug. Now, concluding that case officially, no one was ever charged with her murder. And at that point, I highly doubt that anyone will be, but that doesn't stop a lot of people online for wanting to have justice for her. And that's exactly something that Alex is working on. The trail led him to Mr. Based, and that's where that confrontation happened. Now, there's another character who I talked about a couple videos ago, Pow Envy. Now, like I said in the last World of T-shirts update, he's basically someone that was known for just being a disgusting degenerate, like a Roblox streamer, living in his room and having maids clean up after him, which is basically the exact same way that I live, but I'm bigger on YouTube, not TikTok, so I get bullied a little bit less. Now, he's someone that uses the irony mask a lot, he's in character a lot, but like I said again last video, he went into a very lengthy TikTok explaining how Mr. Based is fully taking advantage of Josh.
So Mr. Based basically found Josh, an autistic alcoholic, and instead of seeing a guy who needs help, he saw dollar signs. And he's been making a lot of money off of Josh, and it's really sad to see. You know, the guy hypes himself up, he acts like he's the king of New York, and he's really just some guy taking advantage of a poor autistic kid. It's really that simple. That's about it.
Now, Pow Envy is someone who's had first-hand experience with Josh, even being on his streams with Mr. Based. I mean, there was a clip that went viral of the two of them having a conversation on the same level of Josh interacting with someone else infamous like Daniel Larson.
Those train tracks need to come off. Your teeth look fine.
Wait, but you think they look good?
Your teeth look... There's no reason why you need braces still.
I think they look good. I think the ladies like braces. Josh, it is 4 p.m. and you've got a beer. You said you'd wait till 6 p.m.
It's Friday.
So Friday's like the exception?
Friday, Saturday, sometimes Thursday.
Thursday too. So 4-day weekday. All right, let's chill. A little early, but it's all right. One step at a time.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, fish heads.
And a lot of people gravitated towards Pow Envy because this interaction, he seems really wholesome. I mean, Josh is the most sober we've ever seen him. Is he completely sober? Probably not, but still, like, this interaction seems really nice, and for once, there's no alcohol involved. And the thing is about Pow Envy, he's probably a little bit socially awkward, so are like all content creators ever online, but he's someone that seems to be playing a character, and he can snap out of that when talking about very serious things. Like I've talked about before, when he made the video talking about how Mr. Mr. Based is, you know, just exploiting Josh. But since that video blew up, he's actually done multiple videos trying to update people on what Mr. Based is doing.
All right, so I've got a big update to the world of t-shirts and the Mr. Based drama. Originally, this video was going to be about me responding to some of the things Mr. Based was saying about me that just weren't true. He said I had fake braces, all sorts of weird stuff. But something bigger happened today. Alex Novell, a YouTuber who's been making videos about Mr. Based, trying to expose him for who he is, recently got a hold of a police report showing that Mr. Based is a very likely suspect in the murder of a young girl named Julia. You can Google this in your own time, Mr. Based Julia. It is a really strange situation, but there are a lot of signs that do point towards Mr. Based perhaps having caused the death of this young girl. So Alex Novell went up to Mr. Based's house because they filmed together. He knows where he is. They live close by. And he asked him about it. Now, Mr. Based grabbed the cord out of his camera, and when Alex tried to reach to get the cord back, Mr. Based actually struck him in the head with a tripod. Now, I saw the photos. He has a lot of liquid coming down his face, if you get what I'm saying, covered in red. And so the police are looking for Mr. Based as we speak. It is a felony assault and robbery. So hopefully Alex is all good after all this. But, you know, I don't want to, it feels weird to make a video about him calling my braces fake when something much bigger is going down. So stay tuned. I hope Alex is good. Alex is in the hospital getting stitches right now. I just got off the phone with him. He's in good spirits. He's a good guy. And he's just hoping that he never has to see Mr. Based again.
And then shortly afterwards, he did another update basically saying that Mr. Based is pretty rattled right now. And he's actually looking at lawyering up, and he's been seen in public talking to a lawyer.
Mr. Based was seen at a restaurant with lawyers. I'm not sure how true this is, but I've heard it from multiple sources. Alex, the victim, and Keemstar, which I don't know, take it as you will.
And after that, the situation got even worse because text messages were leaked of him basically saying that he wanted to game end himself because the pressure of, you know, the entire internet bearing down on him was just too much. Again, it's one of those situations where messages come out about someone saying that they're going to game end themselves and they garner no sympathy whatsoever. Do I think he should do it? Brave statement incoming. I think game ending yourself is le bad and you should never do it because there's always other options. I really do like that people come to my channel for the most brave, bone-chilling statements imaginable. But yeah, I feel like he's in a situation now where he can say stuff like this, but no one's gonna have any sympathy because he's been taking advantage of Josh for a long time, which I've been documenting, but also other things that have been floating around as well, like the drug situation with that girl. None of that was proven in court of law, by the way, but still, it's floating around. The message itself is just really bizarre as well. Like, I can't take this anymore, Twiggy. I'm heading to the Brooklyn Bridge, jumping. Keemstar made life unlivable. I'm not running and hiding forever. Be well, bro. Thanks for trying to help. Don't tell a soul. And obviously he did tell a soul because it's, you know, been leaked. Now, another update as well. Pow Envy and Alex did actually upload a YouTube video together where they discussed the situation, basically recreating the scene of when Mr. Based attacked him because, you know, the cameraman, I'm not sure, maybe it was his off day or something because the footage there is basically unusable and it's really hard to tell what's going on. And I'm not saying in this universe, but there could be like 5 universes down the road where Mr. Based actually didn't do anything wrong. Don't worry, I'm not saying it's this one. Now, obviously, I'm happy that Alex is well, but, you know, I think the biggest takeaway from this, I feel really bad for Josh, World of T-shirts, because I really hope during this whole, like, scuffle that he managed to get away, but I've got this nasty feeling that Mr. Based is going to try and get his claws into Josh even more, because it's basically the only way he can make money now. And then in an even worse scenario, by Josh staying with Mr. Based, because he's, you know, not all the lights are on at home for Josh, okay? Like that is pretty apparent. That is not a bold statement to make. I've said this before in previous videos. I genuinely think, at least for some period of time, he needs like assisted living or something because he can function. He can function on his own, but he's been led down such like bad paths with alcoholism and stuff. I genuinely don't think he's safe on his own anymore. So I feel like Mr. Based will probably now do everything within his power to try to get Josh all to himself to make as much content as he can. And in turn, Josh is going to get a lot of hate because of Mr. Based. I mean, a good comparison I can make here, right? Last video, I talked about the Chandler situation with Mr. Beast. Where is he? It was basically just a huge nothing burger. But in that video, I talked about how Ludwig was going to do a sponsor with Mr. Beast promoting Feastables in his streamer event. But but he chose not to because obviously it's not a very good look. There's serious allegations around Mr. Beast. And then if those allegations are going around and you're taking like 100 grand off him and promoting his product, all that hate that he's currently getting is going to spill onto you. And I feel that's going to be the exact same situation with Josh. But the difference being Josh is not competent enough to be able to take a step back and think, okay, this is a really bad call. I shouldn't do this. The really sad thing is about all this, Josh might be one of the most famous people on TikTok at the minute, but he doesn't have any friends. You know, I imagine he's someone that is incredibly lonely, and like all of this stuff that's going on around him, even though I've barely mentioned him in this video, it is in his orbit. All of this only happened because of Josh. If Mr. Based never met Josh, Mr. Based wouldn't have grown his popularity, leeching off Josh. The mainstream wouldn't have known about Mr. Based, and then people wouldn't have started confronting him like Alex. He only knew of Mr. Based because he was doing a documentary series on Josh in the first place. So it all ties back to Josh. And I just think like for a kid that's in his early 20s, that's too much pressure for one person. I'm not really sure how to end this video because a lot of the other videos I talk about Josh, like it's kind of an open and shut case, and then it's like, oh, we'll see what happens next time. But like this could be really bad for Josh. It really could. Like as unempathetic as I sound, I don't really care about Mr. Based's well-being at the minute. I am definitely more concerned for Josh, and I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I have a very nasty feeling that Josh is probably going to get in contact with Mr. Based. Well, more Mr. Based is going to reach out to him and trick Josh into thinking there's no way out and he has to like travel with him or something like that and go into hiding. I'm not sure, but this is something I definitely want to like keep tabs on because I feel like the full story is definitely not out there yet. Now, since recording the video, Mr. Based has actually put out a new TikTok. It's basically him saying that Josh was in contact, is wishing him luck, and more importantly, he's actually going to surrender himself to police.
So I want to shout out my main man, Josh Bach, World of T-Shirts. I went through a lot the past couple days. I had Keemstar's lynch mobs coming after me, banging on my windows for like 5, 6, 7 hours a night. Josh and I were camped out in my bedroom, chilling out while people were banging on the windows, going crazy, fucking with our heads, just being fucking evil. You know, Keemstar has a track record of doing this to people. So they were doing that stuff to us. There are people out there with cameras from Keemstar, people banging on the window, live streaming it, like nightmare shit. And Josh was with me the whole time. He holed up in New Jersey at a great hotel. We both got 2 hotel rooms on the same floor. So like Josh was an amazing friend to me and was supportive. Didn't go live because he thought people would figure out where we were. And then we separated, and my lawyer negotiated for me to surrender myself for those bullshit fake charges that Alex did when he was squeezing my trachea. He didn't have me in a headlock. He was squeezing my trachea, and I felt like a headlock, like because I was just going out of air. But he attacked me. Like I pulled a wire. I went dink. I just pulled a wire out of his camera. I didn't make his camera even move. Just dink. I took a wire out, little 6-inch wire. Then I dropped it a little bit later. But I am surrendering myself to the police. Just got out of the shower. I got to get over there within minutes. And God bless you all. Wish me luck. I love you. Peace.
The bigger question after this as well is what is Josh going to do? Because Mr. Based was basically his pseudo manager. So does this mean that he's just going to wait for Mr. Based to pick him up again? Or does this mean that there's like almost like a power vacuum where another scumbag manager slips in? I'm not sure, but it's obvious that things are really not good for Josh right now.